Alright, now we're going to talk about how to take some data that we may have recorded into our logbook. So we will record into our logbooks, and we make graph on our logbook, and now we want to learn how to do it using a spreadsheet, in this case Microsoft Excel. But you can use, there's LibreOffice out there for free, but you can get Excel pretty cheaply, if not for free, from the Cal State IT people. When you do My Cal State LA, you should see a link on the left about getting software. Alright, so this is just some generalized data, and if you see my cursor is moving here, and they say X and Y, and sigma Y is the error. Generally, we don't put an error on the x-axis or the x points just yet at this level, but it could be. But today we're just going to deal with, we have some independent variable that we specify, and then we measure something else in relation to it. That's the dependent variable, and then oftentimes this one will have an error, and we'll type it here. Now, you can see lots of digits here, and maybe in your chart you're going to type it in with maybe 1 decimal place or 2 or something like that. And when you do that, Excel, actually the numbers will look kind of funky here. If you have zeros like this, it would only show a 0.1, even if you wanted 2 decimal places. So what we're going to do is we're just going to select all of them by clicking this header, this A, hold it down, pull it to the right. Then we put the cursor in some place in this gray, and we right mouse click, and we go to Format Cells, and we're going to pick Number, and then we're just going to say we want 2 decimal places, and there we go. And sometimes you need more, sometimes you might want to change this one here because the errors are smaller, so you want to show all the possible digits. Okay, so now we have our x-axis data, our y-axis data, and we have the plus minuses on the y values. So we want to make a graph. Okay. It's really pretty straightforward. We select the things that we want to be our x and y axis, and then we go, in this case, to Insert menu. It'll be somewhat different in LibreOffice, but you can just ask for help and I'll explain how to do it. Okay, so we want to insert what's called a scatter plot. You never want lines. Always a scatter plot. That just means that you give it a set of x and y values, and it puts it up there. Okay, and there we have a graph. Pretty nifty, huh? Whoops. So we're just gonna, sometimes you don't move exactly what you think you're gonna move. Alright, so there's a variety of things we can do here. Add a chart element. We have primary horizontal graphs. We can add titles, so we could say that maybe the x-axis could be time. So we could change that, and then you put the units in parentheses like that. We could add axis title for the vertical, and let's say we're going to call this distance in centimeters, and then, oops, no, we didn't want to hit the enter key, and there we have it. And there's a variety of things we can do. So we can go double click on the numbers here. So notice what I've done is I clicked this axis and I double clicked it, and then I look here on the right, and I can change various things So let's say I want to have, see now it changes the x-axis, and now the dots spread across the whole thing. And maybe now I'm going to double click on this axis. I'm going to change this to maybe to 50. So now I'm using up the whole paper. That's up to you. Another thing we can do, because what you're going to find out when you print these things, they're not always going to look just what you expect. So you can now go here and say, alright, I want to change the font here, and the easiest way to do it is just click on it. You go up here, go to the home menu, home tab, and then you can change that to bigger. Click this and do the same thing. And then even the axis title, you can do that. I like to make them bigger than the numbers. So you're going to have to play with this. Now this is the title of the chart. So you might say distance as a function of time. Again, it depends on what you're actually plotting. We're just doing general X and Y. And then you can also change the size of that. So now you have a variety of things you changed. Alright, now so this is just basic make a plot. If we want to print it, we go, now notice that I selected it, and then I go to file menu, print. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Now that's pretty darn big, it's full size. Just see if we have any scaling here. Landscape, well, one simple thing we can do to make it smaller is portrait. We can also, what we can do is we can adjust the borders and see how it made it smaller. The margins. You can also do custom margins, because you remember, you know what the size of your notebook is, so you can just measure how big you want, how much border you want on either side, and then you'll know what's going to be left. See, now it's smaller still, and you need. I have here a PDF, but okay, so, oh, well, of course, you don't have to do a PDF. You can just do it to whatever printer you have handy. And then print a file. I don't know what that means, but I print Adobe PDF, so that's file. And I have the ability to print it to a PDF. We can talk more about that. Alright, so that's basic graphing. And let's do, sorry, one more thing we want to do. We want to add error bars to it. So what I did here is I select the graph. I just click on that. I get the data points highlighted, the data series. And then let's see, we want marker options. I'm going to pause this so I can remember how to add in the error bars. Be right back. Okay, so add error bars. So you highlight the graph, you select it, and you have chart tools at the top, and you click on that, design here, chart element, error bars, and we're going to pick error bars options, because none of these fit to what we want. And that didn't seem to work very well. Okay, I'm going to pause it one more time. Okay, it's so far so good. So you go over on the right here, error bar options. So we want to click these bars here, and we want to do not a fixed value, but we want to do custom and then we're going to pick which one we want, and of course we want to use these. There we go, and that's the vertical error bar, and I believe that's all we need. Now we'll do it both for both directions. So we select these. Nice. Okay. Vertical error bars, and then say OK, and now we need to go here to the X error bars. We don't want any, and I don't know how to get rid of them, so we'll stop one more time. Okay, so a little bit strange about Excel, it won't let me just eliminate them, but so you go to the right here, you see error bar options, and we see series Y X error bars, and we just set the fixed value here to 0. You would think there would be just a simple option here to say no error bars, but I just hit this 0, hit enter, and then you see that the error bars on the x-axis disappeared, and so we can test that they're doing what we want. So we can type a 4 here instead of a 6, and we see that this error bar changed size. Alright, so this is all good, and now I'll make a new video to explain how to draw a fit line on there.